Hey guys, HarryWilmington here, founder of IntrovertDatingSuccess.com. And on today's show, we're going to talk about the 4 reasons why it is imperative that you delay getting into a relationship with a woman for at least the first 3 months. Now, I've talked about something similar to this on a previous show, but I really want to kind of delve deep into the benefits that actually has on her side of things in a way that's going to make her be more comfortable with you and actually be more solid in her feelings for you as a result of making her wait these 3 months. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified of when I post up new videos. All right, so I'm doing this show because this actually correlates with a brand new freebie that is now available at my website, IntrovertDatingSuccess.com. So forever, it seems like, I've been telling you guys about the fact that on average it takes women about 3 months before their feelings are solidified for you. And so to that end, I realized that if you guys have an actual roadmap to follow to kind of let you know what to do during those 3 months in order to better have a more effective chance at being able to get into a relationship, that it would behoove you to be able to have that laid out for you. So I've actually created a free, very, very short, like 3 or 4 page PDF that outlines the 10 steps that go with following a 3-month timetable to be able to get into a relationship, from meeting the girl all the way to actually getting into the conversation about being in a relationship. So if you're a guy that's kind of struggled to know why it is you need to wait 3 months or what to do during those 3 months to keep building up her feelings and what kind of, the process of the type of dates and the number of dates you should go on, then this is a great handout. So you can go to IntrovertDatingSuccess.com and download that handout. It's absolutely free, but it's the same template and blueprint that I've used time and time again to be able to go from meeting a woman, whether it's online or in person, to getting them on a date, to actually getting all the way to the relationship stage. And for those of you guys that are struggling with that, this will help you out. So today's show is really just kind of really going to point out why it is that having that 3-month time period is so important. Because I know there are some of you guys out there that you'll meet a girl and then after a couple of dates, you're like, why don't I just get into a relationship with her? I don't want to play games. And I'm going to actually read a message from a guy that I saw on Reddit that is a very good example of the kinds of messages I both see and I both get over and over again that really illustrates why it is that when you try to rush into something with a woman, it's not going to be helpful to you. So we're going to get into that real quick. A couple of programming things. One, you guys can now follow me on Clubhouse. If you are a member of the Clubhouse app, if you have an iPhone, then that's a place where we can really congregate and actually talk in person with me and a group of other people to talk about things like dating and how to do attraction and online dating and stuff like that. So that's on Clubhouse. Also, guys, if you have a dating question, I would love for you to be able to actually reach out to me and call me and leave me a message on my message machine as to what your question is, so I can play the question on this show and then answer it. So if that is something that you'd like to do, if you're going through a dating situation, you have a question about the girl you're trying to attract or how to do online dating, or you're wondering, what it is you might be doing wrong, or just any kind of questions you have that you don't quite get about dating or being an introvert or whatever, you can call the following number, okay? This is my Google number. It is 323-552-9250. I'll pause. I'll let you get a pen or paper or get near a typing machine to say that. I'll say it one more time for you guys. You can also pause it and play it back. 323-552-9250. So you can call that number. You can leave a short message. Try to make it like no more than 90 seconds if you can, but just, you can leave a message with whatever problem you're going through, and I will answer it on one of these shows. Now, if you're a person that wants one-on-one, if you want one-on-one coaching, then you can leave a message about that. That actually costs money, but I can call you back and we can talk about what that would entail. We can go over what you're trying to do in your dating life, where you're at, how you're trying to get to the next level and stuff like that, and I can help you out with that. But yeah, just leave a message at that number, and I will answer your question on one of these shows. All right? But speaking of that, let's get to this show. So, like I said, I got a new freebie out. The freebie is called The Girlfriend Roadmap Checklist, the 3-month, 10-point blueprint to meeting hot women, increasing their attraction to you, and landing the girl of your dreams without changing who you are. And again, this freebie that I'm giving you guys is the bare bones template of what I do time and time again, like clockwork, whenever I meet a new woman. From the moment that I see a woman that I want to get, I already have in my head this exact template that I'm going to go through in order to be able to eventually attract this woman. And so, as I said, this is a handout that's going to show you the process of doing that in the span of 3 months. And I preach on here time and time again that you need to be making a woman wait 3 months. Part of the reason I do that, honestly, is because too many of you guys are rushing in too soon. And I have found that we rush into stuff real quick, but women tend to take their time. I compare it to, like, let's say both you and a woman at the top of a building. Say it's like a 100-story building, okay? And the relationship is at the very bottom of the building. It's at the ground floor of the building. Men are the ones that would be more likely to just jump off the building and just get to the bottom as soon as possible. Obviously, you're going to cause a lot of damage that way, and you won't be alive to tell the tale of you getting with this girl. Women, meanwhile, will probably get on the elevator and take the elevator down. Why? Because they typically need more time, and they do that because they realize that rushing the process is not going to allow them enough time to really get to know all about you. We'll get more into those things in a minute because I'm going to talk about the 4 reasons to wait. But I want to read an example of a message that I've seen and gotten myself time and time again from guys that illustrates what can happen when you as a guy are trying to rush in, all right? So I'll read this. It says, recently, I just got out of a relationship. It was about a month, and we were happy with how things were going, but she got confused about something personal, and she saw it as a red flag and didn't want it affecting the relationship between us. Now, he doesn't say what that personal thing was, so I can only speculate in terms of whatever that was that might have turned her away. But I want you to look at how he phrases this. He says they went out for about a month. Now, for most guys, what will happen is from the moment that they start going on dates to getting to a relationship to the breakup, they'll consider all of that the relationship phase. And that's the first big mistake that a lot of guys make, is they think that dating equals a relationship. It does not. But because most guys equate it with that, they will do things like this where it was about a month, we were happy. So what he's basically saying is we went on a couple of dates, we turned into a relationship, and then we broke up. It's really, really fast. Now, this guy is probably thinking to himself, I mean, we went on a couple of good dates. We had a good time. We already knew we liked each other. And so, like, why not just go ahead and call it a relationship? Remember that example I just gave about a guy being on the top floor of a building trying to get to the bottom because the bottom's where a relationship is? What happened? Splat. In other words, killed the relationship. And we'll continue on. So far, nobody is mad at each other. In a way, I'd rather be hurt than have her in a spot where she's confused/hurting. Look at that again. Confused/hurting. So what he's getting from her is that she's confused about her feelings and she's afraid she might possibly get hurt. But why does she feel that way? Why does she feel like she's possibly confused? Could it possibly be because in that month's time span from just dating the guy to agreeing to a relationship, she wasn't completely sure that she was wanting to be with him on that level? And if not, why is that? What things did she not have time to figure out in that time that would have better solidified her feelings? Things you got to think about, guy. Continuing on, we haven't blocked each other yet, and I hope it doesn't come down to that because I still want her around in my life, and I hope we can be friends or possibly work it out and be together again. It's not like we were mad at each other all the time. We were very happy together and never argued. Okay, this next part's important. She wanted to keep it going, but it just wasn't a right time. This is the kind of BS and excuses that women will feed you that they hope you will believe when they are no longer interested. But that's not even important. The important thing is, why did she feel like it suddenly wasn't a right time? Subconsciously, what that is saying is that the timing of how fast they got into the relationship did not work for her. It did not give her enough time to fully build up the feelings that she would need to trust this person, to be comfortable with this person, and to have the level of attraction that she needs in order to actually want to date this guy long term, okay? This, sadly, is not an uncommon message. This is a message that I've seen on boards time and time again, and that I've gotten from guys time and time again, where it goes like, I met this girl, things were going great, we dated for like a month, we saw each other every day, I text her all the time, and then burnout. Heck, I had a situation a few years ago that happened to me where it's like, you know, I had reconnected with this girl and I thought things were going great, and we were emailing each other every day for like 2 months straight, and then all of a sudden, ghost. She started answering less. She started wanting to talk to me less. She didn't want me to visit her anymore. And I had to look back and like, oh crap, like, that's right. You can't be this available. And it does take longer. I can't be doing these moves in this course of trying to date her that indicate that I'm already thinking of her in a relationship context, which is what I was doing. So when you get off those vibes early on of you've already decided that this woman is the perfect woman to be in a relationship, you're thinking that's an okay thing, but it really can chase them off. And so that's why I'm giving you guys this free blueprint. Again, it's free. There's no strings attached. It's just going to lay out for you the 3-month process that I use now to be able to date, because I find that by waiting these 3 months, I get a lot of benefits. But what's happening on the woman's end of things when you do that? What is it about making her wait 3 months that makes her in a better position to want to not only claim you as the boyfriend, but to also want to keep you around longer and not dump you? Let's go ahead and get to those points. So the first point, understand, and this is where a lot of guys mess up, because they'll say, well, the girl was showing me all these signs of like, and she showed that she was interested, so I just figured I'd go ahead and make the girlfriend, and then she backed away. What's going on? Here's the thing, okay? Just because she has high interest in you in the beginning, it does not mean that her like for you is completely solidified or at a high enough percentage to actually keep her around, okay? So understand, let's say, for example, you meet a girl on a dating app or you meet her in person or whatever, and you go on that first date, and you can tell by the end of the date, like, she is all about you. That level of like is extremely high. That is happening on an emotional level in that moment. So in that moment, yes, she has high interest. But women are very good at recognizing that just because they like you in this moment at a certain level doesn't mean that she's going to like you at that same level a week or so from now. Why? Because there's not enough time put in for her to really get evidence to back up the things that she's feeling. So here's what I've learned, okay, is that like plus a history of consistency equals more trust and stronger feelings. A woman may have, let's say she has a percentage level of 75%. So in that first date, you do everything right. She's head over heels. She kisses you at the end of the date. She has an interest level in you of 75% for that date. But now she needs to go on more dates with you to see if that 75% stays the same or if it increases. So she's not going to bank off of that first meetup to decide that she automatically likes you and is about you. Because again, you could just be putting on a great first show for her. And she knows this because most women have dated guys where the first few dates they were cool, and then the 4th or 5th date, they start spazzing out, they start looking needy and desperate, and they start like talking about the ex too much and all these other mistakes that guys make that they're not aware of. So as she starts to see and date you more, and she starts to see that you're a consistent guy, that you're doing things that are going to increase her interest, then when she gets to month 3, she has 3 months of evidence to show that you're a guy that she can trust, you're a guy that is who you say you are, and you've done nothing but being able to do things that increase her interest to where it started off at 75% on that first date, and now it's at close to 90 by month 3. So at that point, now it's going to be better for you because if you make her wait that long and she's able to actually like gather up the evidence she needs to fully trust you, it's going to be a lot harder for her to want to leave you because you're such a great guy. But you don't get that if you're rushing in. So that's the first reason that it's important to wait those 3 months. The second reason is that when you are waiting 3 months to talk about anything relationship based, it builds up the will he or won't he commit tension in her head that is also going to help you to build up her attraction to you. Understand, guy, a big mistake you'd be making right now is that by date 2, the woman already knows she has your full interest. You've done told her that you like her a lot. You've already started planning a future. You're already fighting yourself to say I love you to her. And once she knows the cat's out the bag that you already know that she loves you, she knows to do no work whatsoever to attract you, and it's going to be kind of boring because once she has that full knowledge and once there's no threat there that you could potentially walk away from her, that's when it becomes a thing of like, oh, she starts taking you for granted. She starts walking all over you. She's not as enthused about seeing you because she already knows that your like is already there. Versus when you spread it out, here's what's going to happen. And I mentioned this too in the handout, okay? But when you spread it out, it's not that you're just spreading out the time, you're also spreading out how many dates you're going on. So you're not cramming 5 or 6 dates into a week, you're spreading it out. And this spreading out, this not contacting her all the time, this kind of like giving her time to be in her feelings will start to build up the idea in her of like, this guy's not coming at me as strong as all these other guys that liked me in the past that I got rid of because it was too intense for me, but I'm not aware of that. But yeah, it was too intense. But this guy's kind of like being patient. He's not calling all the time. He's not texting all the time. He's sporadically planning dates. He's not always trying to be over my shoulder. Does this guy actually like me? And I know it sounds backwards because you're thinking, but like, wait, wouldn't a woman want to know that a guy likes her? And the answer is sort of. A woman, if you're asking a woman out, she's going to know that you like her, but she doesn't know at what level of like you have. And she doesn't know if your level of like is higher than hers. And that little dance in her head is going to have her questioning back and forth. Does he like me as much? Does he want to see me again? Why doesn't he call me for a date this week for the third time like those other guys did? And that little tension in her head is going to play games with her head that she's doing by herself. All you're doing is being more patient. But by you being more patient, she's going to have that game in her head going on, and that little tension is what's going to actually make her like you more. Because if she's having that tension, she has to think about you more. If she's thinking about you more, then that means that it's a lower chance of her wanting to get rid of you, okay? So that's the second reason. The third reason that it's imperative that you wait a minimum of 3 months before you get into a relationship is that it puts you in the position of appearing less needy for a relationship. And this is the thing that guys don't get, because they're thinking, if I just like her already, it's not that I'm needy, it's just that I already know that I want her. And what a girl sees that as more often than not is, this guy already wants me, he must not have any other prospects, and or why is he trying to rush this so soon? Like I've heard so many women tell me this, I just met this guy, he's already fawning all over me. What did I do to deserve that? What's the actual motive? Why is he trying to rush the thing so much? So you rushing in doesn't actually make her feel more confident. It doesn't make her feel more secure. It actually freaks her out and makes you look like a needy guy that needs to be in a relationship for some reason. Versus if you're more patient, you look more like a guy that's just going with the flow, and that whether she's in your life or not, you're going to be fine. And that's important for women to feel, because there are a lot of women who date guys who become obsessed with them. And then when they try to break it up, the guy's talking about doing self-harm to himself, doing harm to her, or just crying all the time and leaving thousands of messages saying, I want you back, and texting her and so forth and so on, which also stresses the woman out. So it is going to be better for you to appear less needy. And maybe she'll think initially like you're less needy because your like is not as strong. But again, as long as you're consistently asking her out, she'll get that on some level you like her. But that is better to go that route than to go the route of the guy that's looking overly needy, and now she's going to lose interest. Okay? And then the fourth and probably most important reason you need to be waiting, she is going to be more sure of her decision to date you if you make her wait before making things official versus her not being so sure and then dumping you. Let's go back to this guy's story. What happened? They were in a relationship for a month, meaning they dated a couple times, then they made it official, which was probably by his pushing. So they made it official, and then what happens? She says, I'm not sure about this, and I'm not sure about my feelings, and it wasn't a right time, and I'm not, all these questions come into play. I'm not sure of my feelings. I don't know this is where I want to be. I think I need space to figure things out. These are the things that happen when you haven't given her the time that she needs to really figure out what her feelings are and to study you to see if you're a person she can trust. Again, like plus consistency equals more trust in you and stronger feelings. So if you're rushing in, you're going to risk the chance of you might get her in the interim, but in terms of like that lasting more than a month or a month and a half, more likely than not, it's going to go away. Versus if you are the one that paces it out, where you say to yourself, I'm not going to, no matter how much I like this woman, no matter how much she's liking me and coming to me with conversations about what she wants to do and, she wants to be in a relationship, no matter what happens, if I commit to 90 days before I have any kind of relationship conversation, you're going to see when you do that more women are going to stay around you longer, and they're going to be more wanting to be in a relationship. And when you do that also, you're going to find that the problems you're having now of you get into a relationship with a woman and a month later she wants to dump you is going to be less likely to happen, because if a woman's stuck with you for 3 months, by that time, she's gotten more used to your habits. She's had plenty of conversations with you. Hopefully by then you guys have hooked up a few times and kissed a few times and gone out on a lot of great dates to where now there's like enough mini history there to where it's like, oh, she'll be thinking in her head, I've been with this guy for 3 months. It's been great. How are we not in a relationship yet? And you want that to happen, because then she's going to be the one coming to you asking for a relationship. And if she's chasing you, she can't be replacing you, okay? So these are the really important reasons why it's necessary for you to really try to stretch out to 3 months with a woman before you get into a relationship with her. Now, how do you do that? Well, I have a whole free handout now called the Girlfriend Roadmap Checklist, which gives you a checklist of things to do. It's 10 simple things on this checklist, but it's the things you need to be doing during these 3 months to be able to accurately pace out what your dating life is going to look like with this girl for 3 months, how often to go on dates, what kind of things you should be looking for, how and when to do a kiss, how and when to do, your hookups and stuff like that, when and how to have the conversations, what things to look for from her that indicate she's even ready to have that conversation. All this stuff is on the freebie. So go to introvertdatingsuccess.com and download this freebie, okay? I promise you that if you follow this blueprint, which I've used anytime that I've been single and I've used this blueprint, I guarantee you within 3 months' time, I'm back in a relationship again. So you can use this to your advantage as well. Both I and other students that I've taught have used this blueprint and they've also gotten great results. So guy, check it out. It's free. And again, it's not me selling anything. It's just you go to the website, download it, and you'll get some better results in terms of your pacing of your dating life. Thank you for watching this episode of the Introvert Dating Success Show. If you found the info in this episode to be helpful, please show your support by clicking on the tip jar tab, the link of which can be found at the website and in the description below. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment on this episode and catch new episodes every Monday and Thursday right here on YouTube or wherever podcasts can be found. In the meantime, be sure to check out some other episodes so you too can learn how to date as your introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.